Okay, the time being 6:30, I declare the meeting open. Persons in the gallery are advised that under the Local Government Act 1993, a person may not tape record the proceedings of a meeting of a council or committee without the authority of council or committee. Tape record includes a video camera and any electronic device capable of recording speech. Mobile phones must be turned off so as not to disrupt the meeting. Anyone, including councillors, found using a mobile phone will be told to leave the meeting immediately and for the duration of the said meeting. An audio recording of this meeting will be taken for minute-taking purposes as authorised by the Local Government Act. The meeting is live streamed on Council's website to allow the community to follow Council debates and decisions without the need to attend meetings in person. Members of the public attending or speaking at a meeting agree to have their image, voice and personal information, including name and address, recorded and publicly broadcast. Strathfield Council does not accept liability for any defamatory remarks or inappropriate comments that are made during the course of a meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be live streamed. So it will be upstanding for the press. We pray that our deliberation today will be objective and decisions are impartial, made for the whole benefit of the community. And recognition to traditional custodians. Let us begin by acknowledging the Wongal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting is being held. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. Apologies. I have an apology from Councillor Hall and Councillor Chive for lateness. Okay. Declarations of pecuniary interest or conflicts of interest. Councillor?
No.
No. Okay, and then I'll move on to open forum, and I have one request to speak, Mrs. Therese Lestrange. So you have 5 minutes, Therese.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the council for fixing the road at the corner of Francis and Arthur Street for at least the second time, if not the third time. But I'm just wondering whether the cost of this repair is being sheeted home to the cause of it, which is the dump trucks which have been collecting all the rubbish from St Pat's with their building programme. We get runs of double dump trucks down the street, and they were the problem that caused that definitely caused the first thing. We had another run of dump trucks a few weeks ago, and it's caused it again. They're extremely heavy and they push the tarmac right up to one side and cause a pothole and a rut, and it's a real mess. And the school should be held responsible. If I were doing alterations and that happened with the vehicles coming to my place, I would be made to fix it. And I don't see why a school can get away scot-free, saying that it's not on the school ground, therefore it's not their responsibility. It is. We've seen the trucks, and I live there and I've watched them coming down. We've had times where we've had trucks sort of every 15, 20 minutes up and down the road. It's been incredible. I hope the council, I don't know who's responsible within council, but I hope somebody could be followed through and get that done. My second query is a little bit more difficult. The section of Parramatta Road, just west of George Street, has an enormous pothole. It's been concreted to stop it losing any more, but there is still an enormous drop into the concrete. And it's been like that for ages, not for 5 minutes. But the cause of that pothole is the bad drainage. And when I drove along that section of Parramatta Road one day, where I was actually being driven, so I got a chance to look at the curve, as far as I can make out, there is one small drain hole at just north of the George Street corner building. and nothing from there right up to Bridge Street. So there's an enormous amount of water coming down that side of the road, but the actual camber of the road doesn't throw the water into the drain, it throws it to the middle of the road. Mm. So it needs some major work by the part of the RMS to get it fixed. Or if council can get the money out of the RMS to do it, maybe you could get something fixed more quickly. And I would ask that council follow this up with RMS. I think it's an RMS road because it's a main road. But if you can follow that up and try and get something fixed, I'm sick of almost having accidents by trying to avoid the pothole. And I don't like having to go into it because I'm going to break my suspension. And I drive that stretch of road very regularly. And I would appreciate if it could be looked into and followed through.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Lestrange, and I'll get our acting GM, Mr. Barrett, to have a look at these matters.
I need to see the city of someone, that's true.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay, if I can get confirmations of minutes. Ordinary Council Meeting 7th of March, moved by Councillor Pensavini, seconded by Councillor Reddy. Any discussion, councillors? No? I'll put the motion, put the minutes. Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Ordinary Council Meeting minutes 5th of April 2022. Moved by Councillor Data, seconded by Councillor Pensavini. Discussion, councillors? No. Yeah. Put the motion. Councillors? Dragon. Unanimous? Okay. Acknowledgements. I have a couple of acknowledgements. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge Eid, which marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Eid is one of the most important festivals on the Islamic calendar, and on behalf of Strathfield Council, I would like to wish Eid Mubarak to our community. First one. Okay. And then I have just another one. I'm pleased to accept. I had a couple of book launches on the weekend, but this was one book, and then I've got another one that I'll discuss. I'm pleased to accept a copy of Aval Ora Pungosu, which means She is a Blossom, by local author Mrs. Thevaki Karan Nagagaru. This book will be added to the Temple section of Strathfield Council Library and Innovation Hub, and I'm sure that this will prove to be popular. So this was one of our local authors has published this book. We'll acknowledge that. And then I also had the pleasure of attending the book launch of Mr. Sydney Srinarvis, who is here today, with Councillor Data attended the event as well. So we've got Sydney has actually the recent books that we launched was Australian Folktales in Canada, Short Stories in Canada, and there's a history of Charles Darwin. But he's also been generous enough to actually donate his whole collection of books that he's authored to our council library. And he's here tonight, and really want to say thank you very much. It was quite a good event, and there's a lot of well-established academics there, and there's some books on Charles Darwin, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, and obviously some for the we've got 8 of these ones. Okay, so I just want to thank them. They're local residents.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the help of Honorable Mayor and his presence, and then all the library staff and the council staff were very cooperative and friendly. Every time we inquired anything, they went out of their way to help us. And we really appreciate being a resident of Strathfield Council. And then we want to contribute in whatever way we can to, improve the quality.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Okay. That's me, Councillor Pensavini.
Yes, I would like to acknowledge and thank the Council ANZAC Organising Committee and the Cumberland Sub-Branch of ANZAC for the service held on Anzac Day on the 25th of April. A special member to our staff council member, Nina Nayasoa, for her organisational skills and the way the event was organised and proceeded. It was very much appreciated by everyone. We had one of the largest event turnouts that we've had for a long time in our Anzac Day, and it was just so wonderful to see our residents there and appreciating and the memories of our Anzacs. It's a big feature in our Anzac in our calendar at Strathfield, and we hope to continue that in bigger and better ways next year. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Reddy.
I would like to acknowledge that for celebrating the Pramukh Swami Maharaj 100 years birthday celebration in Opera House. There are over 2,500 people came there for the rally, what they have conducted in from Circular Quay to Opera House. And Councillor Datta was with me.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Councillor Datta.
You want to go first?
No, you can.
This is the most popular segment of our meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I have 3 acknowledgements to make, and of course, Mr. Mayor, being the head of the council, always takes precedence. So my first acknowledgement is to Professor Srinivas. He is a very prominent author. I have known him for many years. He has written 10 books, and many of them are biographies on very prominent people like Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and he, through his writings and all that, I know that the whole community across Greater Sydney and New South Wales will all feel very proud of his contribution to the community and our discourse. And he is one of those people, like other thousands of people from Indian subcontinent who have made significant contributions through their professional achievements and academic achievements. And I really congratulate, as I said on the day and today, as well. Thank you for your contribution and make us all proud. Thank you. We are lucky to have someone like you in our council. Thank you.
Thank you.
My second acknowledgement is, again, Councillor Reddy came ahead of me, is to acknowledge the unique celebration that Bap's Swaminarayan Temple organized at in the city. This is the first time the Hindu community, members of the Hindu community did a chariot drawing. It's called Nagar Darshan, from Circular Quay to the Opera House, and the statistic that I have been given was 4,500 people attended that. And the significance of this is that the Nagar Darshan is all about Western Hindu faith, the blessings of God and the Prabhu to the citizens of the country, as it happens in India. Yeah. What that means is that the community is not only trying to contribute or willing to contribute through their professional means, but also contributing through using all their vehicles, including spiritual means, for the well-being of the Australian society. And this is a unique contribution, and I would like to acknowledge it, and I am calling upon all community members to contribute more and more along those lines. So that was my second acknowledgement. The third acknowledgement is there was an Anzac Day celebration by Hindu Council of Australia. And the uniqueness, I acknowledge the celebration for the unique contribution of Indian soldiers made during the Anzac Day during the Anzac event. Up to 15,000 Indians. It is very not well known or not promoted, in particular in Australia, that up to 15,000 Indians fought with Allied troops at Gallipoli, but their contributions remain relatively unknown and unrecognized in Australia, their homeland. It is believed that almost 1,400 Indians died at Gallipoli and up to 3,500 were wounded. Unlike many Australian troops, all the Indians who fought were professional soldiers. The Indian contingent at Gallipoli consisted of an Indian infantry brigade, a mountain artillery brigade, and a mule transport. The mule corps comprised of 650 men and over 1,000 mules to transport the supplies to the troops on the peninsula where motor transport was impossible. The mule corps established themselves in an area known as Mule Gully, which came under constant sniper and machine gun fire during the day. As a result, the transport took place at night. The Mule Corps have always remained as the unsung heroes of Gallipoli. If it had not been for them, the Anjar and the rest of the Allied force would not have been able to hold in the manner they did. So these are my three acknowledgements, and I also wish that in the future the contribution of the soldiers are also acknowledged when we celebrate Anjar. Thank you.
We did have, it was good, we did have a wreath laid on behalf of the community, Indian community. Yeah. So just to make a note of that. Councillor Hall.
I have one that's right out there that I don't think has ever been mentioned before, which is probably my fault. As many people know, I immigrated from Italy in '72, and on the 25th of April, every year, Italy celebrates Liberation Day, and it's a public holiday, and where Italy commemorates the liberation of the country by the Allied troops, and the Italian resistance, kind of that, the left side of the country. And so at the end of World War II, so 25 April, not only is Anzac Day here, but it's also Liberation Day in Italy, and so I'd like to acknowledge that. And Strathfield has about 6% of Italians. So, happy public holiday every 25 April, remember that, every 25th April.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Okay, deferred or outstanding matters, nil. Okay, and then quite a big business paper tonight, councillors. So, I move in accordance with section 13 of Council's Code of Meeting Practice. I move that 1. Council alters the order of business in accordance with clause 8.1, and 2, adopts the following notices as recommended by way of a single motion. Seconded by Councillor Pennsylvania. Motion 8.1. Meryl Minute, sorry, 8.1.
We're going to take this really slowly.
Yeah, we're going to have a list on here, Councillor.
Okay, so 8.1 is at page 52. Thank you.
Do it in your
Content.
I've written notes.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
my problem.
Sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, there is no tab, so you can give to time.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, 8.1.
Okay.
12.1.
This is page.
12.
Page
82.
Just make it faster if you guys can.
Yeah, I'll read the page. Okay.
Yeah.
So 12.1, page 82. 12.2, page 83.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I did have a question on that one.
Which one?
12.2.
12.2?
Do we
Do you want
need police
to debate
approval?
that, Councillor?
No, I don't want to debate, I just want to ask a question.
It's got to go to traffic.
We'll go to traffic.
That's what I mean, do we
Yeah.
need the police
It was got to go to
approval?
traffic.
So, do we need to put that as standard traffic? No?
No, it's,
Goes automatically, okay?
yeah.
12.2.
12.3, page 84.
I have a question.
Okay, do you want to debate that, yeah?
No, I just have a question.
Okay, I'm happy to take it off, Councillor, and talk about it.
No.
Gotta go
I'm
to
just wondering whether it's been done, because I know Homebush has been done, and I thought
Homebush has been, yeah, sorry.
through the
Chair.
This motion we're going to bring back to the next workshop.
Yeah.
The question was raised whether we can increase the width of some of the car parks. Have a look at the entry. Get that entry fixed up. Actually, I had a look at the plan today. So what I wanted is to make sure that the council understand that there will be some loss of spaces.
Yeah.
But we did, and also that, those spaces along the laneway, get rid of them.
Yeah.
But we did pick up 17 spots in Henley. So I think we'll still be ahead, so I'm going to bring that to the workshop.
Okay, so the workshops are fine with that one. 12.4, page 85.
Just Mr. Mayor, one correction. It's, I do not make a mistake. It is Hornsey Road, not Henley Road. It's a typo.
Okay, do we need to?
We'll just note that.
Yep.
Hornsey Road,
So
not
moving
Henley.
on notice.
Whereabouts?
H-O,
Hornsey.
Yep.
Hornsey.
thank you.
You're okay with that, Councillor? Yeah. CEO 1, page 86.
Well, it's already happened, hasn't it?
Yeah.
CEO.
CEO 2, page 123.
I have some question on CEO1, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to
Okay, take that off.
Just ask the
You want a question? You want a question? Okay.
Yeah.
question in fact
In season
I-
one,
CEO1.
Yes, what's your question, Councillor Dowden? Mr. Barrett's here.
Debating information.
In fact, question I'm going to, the question that I have, Mr. Mayor, is that many of those, it's a big item, and there are a lot of deliverables that we're talking about it. And some of those deliverables, what I do not see across the whole thing is, there is no, there are some projects and initiatives, there is no timeline. It will be delivered. It will be delivered, and from what I have seen in the past, from any performance point of view, people will say that I'll deliver it tomorrow or 5 months or 6 months, and not all of them could fall in the category, but majority should have a timeline so that we know how as a council we are performing. And I have never seen a paper like that where all of these items are there and there is no timeline for anything.
Can I just get a comment from Mr. Barrett? The delivery program July to December 2021.
Yeah, through the chair, these are all matters that have been completed. If it does indicate that the matter is ongoing, I do acknowledge that it would be far more prudent for us to indicate a timeline if it's not actually completed, and we'll certainly take that on board for the next report, which is 6 months later.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one small thing there. There are many items on page 94, 93 and all that, have not been comments, not comments. So those are the things that also stand out as items that should have a timeline, say like when it is going to comment, so that we can, as a council, have an idea of what is happening with all those. There are plenty of items there. It's not a criticism, it's just a new way of looking at things.
Through the chair, I do acknowledge that that as a council, we have not been reporting as transparently as we could have.
Thank you.
And we'll certainly improve that.
Thank you.
Okay. CEO 2, page 123.
Just 1 second, Mr. Yeah, that's a good one.
CEO 4, 127 page.
Yeah.
That's the one we saw at the workshop already.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yep. CEO 5, council workshop, page 133.
100.
33, 133.
Mr. Mayor, I have a few questions on CEO 5, if I may, please.
Yeah, this is what we received at the workshop, councillor, so it's just receiving and noting that we received this at a workshop.
The purpose of this report is present a summary to the council of what items have been discussed at the council workshop.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's
Yeah.
okay. Thank
Yep,
you.
thank you. CEO 7, page 326. This is Stephen's provided, Mr. Clemenceau has provided the amended plan as per our resolution last month.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just interrupt for a second, please. This on this CEO 5, there is an item number 15, and I have a report on it. So I'm letting it go, but I would like to raise a point on item 15. I'm happy to do it later.
Yeah,
If that helps.
let's do it.
Okay, thank you.
Let's do it later. CEO 7, 326.
CEO
7. That's just the
Amended
design
husband part.
as
You're
per,
going to see.
Next
Oh.
page, as per our, changes, where we remove the, too much concrete and, over, bit more green space and back into
Yeah.
Hudson Park.
Just one question, small question,
Yes,
Mr. Mayor.
yes, Councillor Nevada.
You are talking about, on the third parameter report, the following items are being incorporated into the project: 2 outdoor table tennis tables, 2 picnic shelters with the barbecue units, each containing 4 tables and seating, 2 picnic shelters with 2 tables and seating in each, and a water splash park. Now, this is very good. The small question I have is, the 2 picnic shelters and barbecue units you were talking about, is it in addition to the barbecue units that we have, or are we in addition to what we have? That's good, thank you.
Okay, CS1, investment reports, page 329. This investment report, Councillor.
Oh, okay, that's good, kind of good.
Let's receive and note.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
All other councillors, yep, we're all on top of it?
Yep.
DEU1, page
Hang on,
300.
council resolution. CS2.
No, I think we want to.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Oh, right. People on me. I think you've got. Yeah.
You missed out CEO 8, which is only on the second agenda I got, so I'm just wondering whether you've got it on your...
We haven't got it on the agenda. What is it?
It's just the report about the way you invest in intensive grants.
Oh, we got that at the workshop.
There's
No,
a
no, I
supplementary.
Oh, there's a supplementary here.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Sorry.
Thanks, Mary.
Sorry,
Yep,
thanks.
no worries.
It's on the table.
Okay. So let's say,
Yeah.
yep,
Recommendation that you say we go ahead with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go DEU1, 357.
Yeah, this is good one.
Yep, councillors. DEU2, page 363. That's the FIFA Women's World Cup, and they're just
yes.
responding that we have offered our spaces for when the World Cup comes, and they maybe have a training session in one of our facilities. Receive a note. And CEO 8, as Mary pointed out, thank you, which is the supplementary report. Okay.
Done.
Done. Okay, so I put those motions. All those in favour?
Hang on. Are we going to do PC1? Or are we going to talk about that?
Nothing to talk about.
Okay.
All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors.
Wonderful.
Okay, I'll move on to just a late, or not late, it's in front of you, councillors, and I know, Councillor Hall, you weren't here. I know you're a member of the Rotary.
Yes,
Yep.
I'm just going to do the declaration.
Thank you.
Sign.
So basically, we're just moving, we've got the Strathfield Rotary Youth Awards ceremony being held on the 9th of June, and council has been approached for support, and basically just requesting that up to $1,500 be awarded for the Youth Achievement Awards, and also that council prepares a sponsorship policy framework for consideration by the next council. And I'll note that Councillor Hall has left the room because she's a member of Rotary, which has put in conflict. Any debate, councillors? No, I'll put the mayor in it. In favour? Councillor? Thank you. Declare it carried. Okay.
Yes, she can come back in. She's just getting a cup of tea by the sound of it.
Sorry.
Okay, councillors' questions to the mayor? Nil. Questions we've noticed? Nil. Report from Traffic Committee.
Traffic.
19th of April, moved by Councillor Pensabini, second by Councillor Reddy. Any debate, councillors?
No.
No, I put the motion, I put the minutes. Unanimous, Councillor Reddy? Yep. Unanimous. Okay. Audit and Risk Improvement Committee, page 72. Moved by Councillor... moved by Councillor Reddy, second by Councillor Data. Any discussion, councillors?
No.
Yep. All those in favour? Audit and Risk Committee minutes?
Oh,
Yep.
you missed the other one, that was quick.
Unanimous?
Yep,
Unanimous.
so we go,
David? Unanimous.
CEO three,
So now we're at CEO 3, Community Newspaper, page 125, moved by Councillor Pennsylvania, seconded by Councillor Blackmore.
do we have any tissues?
I've got one in my handbag.
Sorry, no, I'll take it.
Yeah.
What page was that, Mr. Mayor?
125, Councillor Dada.
Thank you.
The other one's big. So this is 101.
Okay. I would like to put a change to this motion, Councillor Pennsylvania, if you'll second it, so that delivery current, that the delivery of a monthly printed newsletter.
No, you shouldn't be taking in.
I think, actually.
You need to check, you come.
No, I think. Yeah, we've heard that. The delivery of a monthly printed newsletter be delivered to all residents and businesses in the local government area LGA. To show up starting from. Starting from.
Starting from June?
No.
Starting from July?
No. June.
June.
May, June.
June.
Yeah. Starting from June.
Is that acceptable to the council?
They're already working on it.
Right.
Can, point of order, the only reason I'm asking is whether it's June or July is because it'll have to be, the money will have to be found in the budget, so when the new budget kicks over in July, so you're better off putting it in July where in the new budget.
Okay.
That's in
Yep, so starting from July 2022. Okay. And obviously there's the part in there which is already in the recommendation that we approach other local councils to look at advertising commitment, which is the recommendation from the staff.
For an independent newspaper.
I think monthly is probably better than quarterly. It just means that people can actually be kept up to date on a more regular basis. You know, a lot of residents have asked for this, and I'll hope councillors support that additional service. And I know I know I've moved it, but I know Councillor Hall made this the recommendation in our workshop, so I'll acknowledge that. Councillor Pennsylvania, any comments?
Yeah, I just think that it's great that we're starting out this way and that we're going to get a monthly newsletter delivered to our residents every month so they can see the dates that need to be noted and things that are happening in our council. But I also believe that we should, as the recommendation states, that we should talk to our local council areas in Burwood and Canada Bay to see if we can get an independent newspaper running with the inclusion of and the acceptance from the 3 councillors to do their advertising commitment to that paper, so we have an independent paper delivered. People want to hear about community news. They don't just want to hear about Strathfield. They need to hear about our schools. They need to hear about our businesses need to advertise. Our local area needs to be advertised. And if we have an independent newspaper with an independent reporting, then that can all be included in our area. I think that's what people are looking for. Comments are like, oh, where's our local paper? I just want to ring up someone to fix my plumbing or to fix my electricity. I want to get someone local. We need a local newspaper back to service our area. And I think that's really important that we continue on finding an independent newspaper source to service our residents.
Yes, Councillor Reddy.
To the chair, are we planning to deliver this newspaper from July this year?
That's the newsletter?
Yes.
Produced in-house by council?
It's in-house.
Yes. The newspaper is the second part of it, to look at approaching other things. This would have to come back to council at another stage, but it's just saying that it's giving us our council staff authority to approach.
That's because in our workshop, I don't think we have discussed the newsletter. How many pages is it going to be?
Depends how much news we've got.
I think it's probably through the chair. I think it was up to 12.
I think
No, 4.
I think 8 pages.
I thought it was only 4. I thought it was just.
Yeah.
I thought it was just something like that.
It's 4 pages. Yeah. Did you get the budget? Sorry. How many papers I can see?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was all in the
I have a
report.
question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
After
Councillor
Councillor
You've got
Reddy is finished.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Councillor Chai, please.
My-
Thank you, Mr.
My question, Mr. Mayor, is who would be controlling the content, like how the content of the paper would be managed? Who would be the,
It's our council staff. As per the quarterly newsletter, they get their subscribers. I believe Councillor Hall, Councillor Pensavini put that up last time about subscribing to a hard copy quarterly news.
Yeah.
So we will publish our own newsletter once a month.
the content, who would be the editing the
Our staff.
content?
The staff.
Yeah. Not talking. Yes, Councillor Mahaswara.
Can I move an amendment to the motion?
Sure.
Sure.
And this is based on the discussion that we had inside the council workshop, to add.
Excuse me, Councillor, can you just speak up a bit? I have
Sure.
trouble hearing because I've got a blocked head.
This is following the conversation in the council workshop to add a third point, which would be that council re-advertise the expression or reopen the expression of interest for the delivery of a newspaper that would provide a monthly delivery to the homes within the local government area, and that EOI specifically provides that council will purchase advertising space for a period of a year within that newspaper, and that the amount that council would be willing to spend should be quantified as the cost of providing the newsletter set out in point 1 of the motion.
You don't like that? We're going to put another ELI out there, which is the workshop.
That takes away from me.
Say again?
That takes away from
My only issue with that, Councillor Mahaswaran, is that by saying the council quantified from point 1 is basically that what would then happen is that this independent news would then possibly, that is your idea to actually replace that newsletter if there was a EOI awarded? Because I think it's two separate things.
I think that was, sorry.
Yeah.
Through the mayor, through the chair. I thought that was going to be, I thought that we resolved that. If there was an independent newspaper that came out, we don't need to then send out a monthly newsletter. Because we'd have all our information in the newspaper.
They wouldn't do that. Yeah, sorry.
That was my idea of sending out the newsletter first and then looking for another independent newspaper.
Yes, Councillor Hall.
I completely understand what Councillor Hassan is saying and Councillor Pensavini is saying. When this started 4 years ago, it basically started, we wanted, back to the Strathfield scene. But the Strathfield scene was basically controlled by council, basically. In other words, council did have to approve the paper, what was going in the paper. And I have to say, council was very
I don't know whether that was true, Councillor.
Yeah, well,
Whole content?
yeah, the whole content, because council was paying for it.
Can I get a comment on that through the chair from one of the staff?
That was here at the time, no one.
Yeah, Councillor. Councillor Jones. Oh, not Councillor. Sorry.
In saying
brain
that,
dead.
council was very liberal in allowing them to do what they, but it was, at the end of the day, it had to go to.
It wasn't approved by council.
Yeah, but they were supposed to. Yeah.
No, a lot, you have to remember, a lot of content comes from council too. Some of the articles in there and things like that, but, there wasn't any tenants in Strathfield scene. They go out and get advertised, and then they actually have their own reporters that go out. We'd like to think that they go through the council, but they didn't. Yeah, I can say that often you would see it on the front page and things like that. But largely, you know, it's one of those complications with whether or not you want to. But it did cover a lot of the community news and, yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is that it was basically 100% funded by council. 100%.
$400,000.
So what we're talking about is something that the council will only fund a fraction of. If you are a commercial person and you're running a business and you're getting a fraction of money from one source, you're going to go out and get the rest of the money from somewhere else, which means, you know, they're going to give you your little section and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like the Strathfield thing was before. So my concern is that, you know, they may go out to the other councils, and that's what used to happen in the Inner West Council, in the West Courier. I'd open it up, and the amount that was on Strathfield was the amount that was paid. Every other story was about every other council except for Strathfield. And that's my concern with if we depend only on an outside paper. So what I would like to see is, I would like to see council with their own newspaper and a 4-page newspaper that does go out monthly. And, you know, that includes things like, I mean, every, you know, we could send out things like...
Council Hall.
My 5 minutes up, no.
No, you're just debating the amendment, but we actually don't have a seconder for that amendment.
I see.
So I'm not, that's the only reason that I think we're moving away from the two, the monthly printed one from council and an independent one, and I think they're separate issues. I think we should have a monthly one from council, and that is just, you know, council's business, and then, you know, if somebody wants to go out there and try and bring together the councils, and somebody, you know, outside, an EOI, then I think that's a completely different issue. That's where I think we're going to land, only because of the commercial,
Viability.
But not because I agree with it, but, I mean, I would like to have what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I put the amendment to, seconded by Councillor Pennsylvania?
Voting? All in favour? Did you put it?
No, yeah, so all in favour? Councillor Pennsylvania, Councillor Mahaswaran. Against? Councillor Shah? Yes. Thank you. So it's lost. So move back to the original motion. Okay. Any further debate, councillors?
No.
No. Okay. I put the motion. All in favour? Unanimous?
Oh, I'm against.
No, who's against it?
Sorry. In favour, Pennsylvania, Blackpool, Delta, Councillor Reddy, and Councillor Chai, Councillor Hall. Against, Councillor Mahaswaran. I declare it carried. Okay. CEO 6, Community Strategic Plan, page 135, and I actually have.
Where we start?
No,
Before we commence, can I just thank Council Officer Cathy Jones for all the work that she's put into the CSC. We know that this is not an easy document to prepare, and I think we all know the time that it takes to prepare this document, and it's not only work days. We know that Ms Jones has worked through the weekends and over public holidays to get this done, and we really do appreciate it. And thank you. I think the report is brilliant. I'm really looking forward to discussing it, and thank you again, Officer Jones.
Thank you.
So the main change here from what I've given you, all the rest is the same. It's just the point 2, which is actually talking about our community facilities, our Strathfield Town Hall, pavilions in Airy Park, Hudson Park, Dutton Centre, library meeting rooms, new fees for the Homebush West Community Hall, which is just opened. And basically, I'll give you the time council to have a quick read. And basically it's saying that the bonds for the hire are halved, 50% reduction, and that the hourly hire fees for all these facilities are halved, 50%. So, yes, Councillor Hall.
I have an amendment.
Yeah,
It's basically an addition.
yeah, can I just say it?
In which one? No.
Under the corporate and governance.
Corporate and government, under the fees and charges,
Yes. Yes. Page 37.
page 37. Can I just ask if this could also be bigger print for me, please?
Yeah.
We have it printed in full scale.
Page 37 in the CSP.
Landscape. Yeah,
So
printed
Councillor
landscape.
Hall, you're talking about 178, sorry, page
Corporate and
Oh,
governance,
sorry, on the fees
37.
and charges.
100 and, which one,
Page
fees and
37
charges
is the
or
fees
the,
and charges.
fees and charges, sorry,
Fees and charges.
apologies. Page 37 of fees and charges.
Mhm.
Thank you.
For footpath display,
Say again.
the street dining. So street dining,
Yes?
I would like to see no increase in the street dining.
And is that for the, oh, okay.
Yeah, annual rental charge, yeah?
The annual rental
So
charge,
first permit at 300, so
And-
just stay at 300, yeah?
And I'd like to see, no bond on the, other centres. We're talking about so if I can, so the reason for that is because they're paying a bond on the footpath. Like, what damage is chairs at Rochester Street and Homebush West, you know, the cafes there that are that put their chairs and tables on the chairs. So why are we asking them to pay a bond on putting their chairs and tables out on the street? You pay a bond in case there's some damage. So what damage can they do to the footpath?
Well, they can.
a lot.
Yeah.
It says, street dining bond, other centres, per application, $1,000.
Page 39.
If you're saying that there is none, good, that means we should have one.
Street dining,
Oh, geez.
are you saying the
39,
street dining bond?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Do you want to reduce,
Can I just get a comment on that through the
Through the
chair?
chair.
From,
Why do we need that?
My understanding is that this is because it's not just the chairs and tables that are being damaged, it's the spills done on the pavers. If you get grease and oil and stuff spilled on the pavers, then we have to, go and clean it up. Because it's footpath, can't be decorated pavers. But it's only a bond, if nothing happens, then they get the money back. It's a bond, it's in case of damage. It's not taken away.
this is for new premises? Or for
This is-
ongoing?
Yeah, this is for, no, this
Yeah,
is
that's
just pay it once.
Yeah.
Right.
The people pay it once. If when they leave,
You get the bond back.
fine, they get the bond back.
Okay,
So it just penalises people who mess up the footpath.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything to the people who don't.
Okay.
so, can I, well, it's an issue, and I see why it's an issue, because for a long time, there were cafe owners that were complaining that, you know, they had loose, pavers, that it was really uneven, and yet we were still holding on to their bond. And so, that's where,
Because they were still there.
the contradiction was still.
If they left, they would have got their bond back.
Well, I know, but $1,000, you know, for a small cafe is a
If
lot.
there was a reduction in the bond, I think,
Okay, let's do that.
we need to be,
I can compromise.
sensible,
Happy to compromise. 500? let's deal.
No, I think you just do what we've done the other ones,
You'll do
Councillor, maybe
50%.
50% reduction.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I
That,
agree.
street dining be bond
Be reduced,
fee will be reduced for
By
50%
50%,
for all new
and
applications.
that no increase in
In the street.
in the
In the
street.
50% for all new applications.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
new
David,
applications,
sorry, for all new
all
applications.
new applications, 50%.
Okay, better than nothing. Thank you.
Councillor Hall's always on the phone every
Is it on
Every
the what?
year, every
Every
year.
CSP,
On what?
every
You're always on
CSP,
this
you're always on this one.
Okay, yes, I'm happy with that, who moved?
You know, incorporate.
Yeah, we'll incorporate it.
Yeah. 1 second, 2 seconds, that.
Did we second it?
No.
I moved
I
it.
seconded.
Left more.
Oh, can I, well, I did the amendment, I did the amendment, so.
I did.
Look, I'm happy to
I'll
to
second,
put Councillor Hall as the seconder. She hasn't had a,
this is my baby, you know, the dominant thing.
Okay.
so I'm happy with
I've been
that,
on it for 5 years.
I'm happy with that, Councillor Hall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You'll
Okay.
incorporate.
Any-
You'll incorporate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Data?
Mr. Mayor, my comment is about the increase of rates by 1.1%.
Yep.
Sorry, which
As
page?
set by IPAD?
That's said by IPAR.
Yes.
From my past experience, what I have seen is before any increase has been proposed, we have been given some facts and figures on how, what is the council's position if there was no increase in revenue, and what would be what the other councils have been performing, how much they are getting.
Can I just
data.
a second, Councillor Data? I might get, just through the chair, Mr Barrett, obviously IPAD is the,
Sure. Yeah, through the chair. Yes, through the chair, IPART controls rate increases in any council. It sets, I believe, the increase for this year at 0.8%, subject to an ability to increase that based on population, and based on that we were able to increase rates by 1.1%. Obviously, rates is our largest income item. It contributes something in the order of, with domestic waste management, something in the order of about 58% of our income. But it basically pays for increases in our salary costs, which account for over 60% of our expenses. Our salaries are proposed to increase by 2.3% in accordance with award increases. So, council, even with IPART increases, we are going backwards. We need to continue to drive efficiency, continue to look for income generation opportunities, and to improve our operations just to survive with a 1.1% increase.
Yes, Councillor Data?
Mr. Mayor, just I think I need to clear this. I'm not saying that we should increase it by 1.1% or 0.8% or 1.5%. I'm not suggesting any of that. What I'm suggesting is that a better practice for the council would have been, I know IPAT role, they have been doing it for some time, and I know it quite well. The practice that I have seen happens in the past is the council officers present a paper showing if there was no increase, what would be the position, and what would have been the position if there was a change. Also, that also compares how the performance of the council compares in terms of rates with similar other councils in around here. And I have seen that being presented in the council many times, not just once. And I think that gives a better option for us to look at, like if we are still going backwards, we should be putting 1.2%.
Councillor, are you making an amendment, or you're
Yeah,
just criticising stuff?
I'm saying that this particular item, there should be a report for us with comparative data for us to consider before this motion goes through. So either we take it out or put a shadow motion for a report on that, on the comparative data.
So there's no debate, you're just making a comment?
No, I'm saying you put it, I'm suggesting that we defer this.
We're not going to defer it, councillor. It's got to be on public exhibition.
For a month.
Okay. I've actually, you know, as discussed, you brought this up with me earlier. I personally, on looking at the iPad increase, I personally went and did my own research and had a look at the different councils' rates around here. We've got 1.1. Our rates are very low. We're some of the lowest in Sydney. We've got massive population growth. That's why we've got 1.1%. And yeah, I think we're, you know, making a mountain out of a molehill, councillor Data. So do you have an amendment, or you're just making comments?
Okay, it is going to show, so Mr. Mayor, what I would say that I do not think it meets the best practice standard for us to approve something that we do not, that we are not aware of the facts and figures about. I'm not about 1.1% or 1.5% or 0.8%. What I'm saying is, this is not the best practice standard. This, for something putting before council, there should be facts and figures showing what they can, how the council is performing, what the council will be going, if it was 0.8% or 1.5%.
Thanks, councillor Data. We'll take it on board. Thank you. Okay. Any further debate, councillors? No. I'll put the recommendation as per the update. All those in favour?
I'm not supporting Mr. Mayor.
Okay. The Mayor, Councillor Reddy, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Hall. Yeah. Against? Councillor Data, Councillor Maswaran, Councillor Chai?
No, I support it.
Okay. Just to make it clear, Councillor, so that I can see. Okay, I declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. We'll move on to CS2, page 351, current status of council resolutions, moved by Councillor Pentabini, seconded by Councillor Hall. 351.
Again, can we make this bigger?
Landscape.
Yeah, it's going to end this one.
Well, that we had before. We could read it last time.
Okay, is there any 351? Councillors, keep up.
351, guys.
Oh, that's really used to be landscape, wasn't it?
I know. I can't read it.
We're all on board, councillors?
Well, as far as I can see it.
Yes, councillor, any discussion, Councillor Data?
Well, just one question, Mr. Mayor. First is to you. The insecure jobs, the item fifth item is insecure jobs. If somebody can jog my memory about what it is about.
Yeah, that's the purpose of the report is just to keep track of previous motions. I've written letters. It went out. They went out just after the business paper was prepared, supporting secure jobs in council. So that's
Central State Government. It was a motion last meeting.
It was a motion last meeting. Check your council minutes, Councillor Data. Yes.
And the second question that I have is, I want to, the item, on the third page, that is 355. Yes. The flyover and path, and I would like to, I'd like to discuss this report that was presented.
Look, I don't think this is the point of time that we discuss it. This is just the current status.
Okay, sure.
So the flyover, councillor, is the first part presented to councillor workshop 26th of April 2022. So it's just noting that it was presented to us, and
sure.
it was.
Okay, I'm happy, but please find the time to discuss.
No worries.
Thank you.
Any further debate, councillors? No? I'll put the CS2 in favour. Unanimous. Okay, DEU3, review of the Strathfield Connector Bus, moved by Councillor Blackmore, seconded by Councillor Pentabini. I've got a alternate recommendation.
Page number.
Page number 364. So what I've put there is that new routes be developed and presented to the next council workshop, and then to a subsequent council meeting, which includes a more direct / linear route which stops at or in the close proximity to Cook Park, Belfield, Strathfield South Area, DFO / Wrestling Park, Strathfield Library Innovation Hub, Strathfield Homebush and Homebush West Stations, Flemington Market, Corrali Avenue or Centenary Park Precinct. Workshop to discuss a new route providing additional services during peak hours, 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. on a half an hour loop, and a reduced service of one bus during other times. They plan to increase advertising internal and external of the bus to subsidise the cost of the service, and they plan to relaunch and rebrand the bus with improved signage and timetables across the LGA. These councillors I want to talk about, when this was originally put to councillors, the original three councillors from previous term, originally it was sold to us as being a cost-neutral service, and that the advertising would subsidise this service. And our budget has actually got an approval of almost $1.3 million, and based on those calculations, the figure in the report says $14 per ride, but my calculation says that it's $18.21 per ride. This has become a very expensive service. I've received multiple emails once the business papers have been presented about the fact that this bus is driving around empty during the day, and it's $1.3 million that could be better spent elsewhere. A compromise, I would personally like to cut the service, I'll be honest, I'm happy to put it out there, but obviously compromise would be to make a sort of reduced service which services where the need is. So I've put this recommendation, and I hope that councillors support it. Councillor Pensavini, you're okay with that? Yes? Any further debate, councillors?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I still believe we need a commuter bus. I think the people who use this bus, our residents who use this bus, use it regularly. I think it can be improved in regard to the route in which it takes from south to the south side is where people are really wanting it, from the Belfield and South Strathfield area. They have nothing to come to Strathfield. So I think if we can trial this new route and see how it goes, I think it would be a great opportunity to see if our residents will take it up, and our students, maybe in our high schools, that would take it up rather than have their parents dropping them off to school. We need to do something about our traffic around our school areas. If we can advertise it better through our school systems and the students actually use it, then we can actually hopefully try, and that was the whole idea, was to get the residents and students using the bus rather than parents dropping their children off. So let's trial it, let's see how it goes.
Councillor, sorry, I've got a bad taste because of the experience with the service, that's why I made that comment.
I understand, but I really don't think we can cut it now. I think people are expecting it, and I think we need to continue and to keep getting it right. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hall.
Along with Councillor Pensavini, I think we were the movers of this motion back, I don't know, 4 years ago now.
Yes.
43,500 people in July 21 is not an
Councillor, I just want to, those figures are actually incorrect. It's actually 33, if you look at the numbers, it's about 34,000.
Okay, well even 34,000, that's
trips.
More people or more trips than there are voters. So
can I make a comment, Councillor Hall?
No, you have to let me.
I just want to make a comment. Sorry, but
okay, you have a point of order.
I just want to make a point of order. You know, you're talking about that sort of trips, but there's a gentleman in there called Michael, and the use that he's using it is about 2,700 of those trips every year, and he costs council about $30,000 a year for one user.
Oh, sorry.
So it's not 34,000 people using it. It's 34,000 trips, which could be the same person using 10% of the service.
Thank you. I agree with Councillor Pensavini. I still think this is an important service. I think it did put us on the map.
It did.
We were the envy of many councils around the area. Yes, let's reduce it. I'm happy to support the new changes. But I really do think we need it, and I think it's something that that council can be proud of, and Deputy CEO Mr. Clements has done an amazing job, has put a lot of work in it, and I think it's a really good little baby, and I think we just need to maybe teach the baby where to go.
Yeah, I think that's councillor, while we've got the workshop, so councillors can have a better input now. Okay, that was, I had two speaking for. Anyone against the recommendation? No? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Unanimous. Okay, DEU 4, Employment Zones Reform, 387. Okay, moved by Councillor Reddy, seconded.
Oh, I'm moving amendment.
Yeah, that's okay.
Did you,
Could you second
I'll
please?
you, okay, sorry. Yeah. Moved by Reddy, seconded by Maheswaran. Councillors, sorry. Yes, Councillor Maheswaran.
So the amendment I propose is one that was flagged in the workshop, which is that there's an additional point, being point 4, the council undertake a review of the appropriateness of the current iron zonings with reference to the existing and emerging economic uses.
Hang on. So you need to note this.
Yep.
The council is reviewing the appropriateness of the
Existing iron zonings with reference to existing and emerging economic uses, with a view that that report shall be delivered prior to the close.
Slow down. And that a report be
Delivered prior to the closing of the execution of the employment zones reform.
employment zone.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. And I move the second amendment as well separately, which is the deletion of the roadside stalls as a prohibited activity inside the E3 zoning.
Which one? Roadside stores in the E3 zoning.
Correct.
Can I just get a comment from Mr. Clements about that?
Just want to make it clear, in relation to the further report representing the Council Planning Commission on the employment zones reform, it's totally clear. The Council undertake a review of appropriateness of existing zones with reference to existing emerging. Councillor, are you asking us to look at other uses within that zone that aren't in the list? Because this list of the zones, of the usage, they're gazetted.
Yeah.
They're statutory lists.
Yeah.
So, from that, you're asking us to ask the department to maybe include other uses that aren't listed?
To clarify, and this was the discussion that was in the workshop, that in effect we would find that in particular parts of this area, the current IN1 use and the IN2 use has no real relationship with the current uses that are there, and that there may be a more appropriate use that is coming out of the employment zones reform. And we want to study that and to see if there is more appropriate zoning rather than do a straight transition, as they say, or what they call translation of the employment zones.
Okay, we can have a look at that. I can have a look at that, but I have got my hands tied in relation to IN1 and IN2 uses, because they've been merged into a new E-zone with the same uses.
Of course, but you may determine that it's more appropriate for what is currently zoned IN1 and IN2.
Not to be IN1 to be E2.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're happy with that, Mr. Clements?
Yeah, that's good, I understand,
Yeah. Councillor Hall?
I had the same question with the equal zoning. So I was wondering why centre-based childcare facilities were prohibited in E4. If that's an IN1 and IN2. So why would the government prohibit childcare-based facilities? Wouldn't we better off putting child-based facilities in the IN1, old IN1 than in residential areas?
Well, the childcare centres, at the moment, they're prohibited in our IN1 zone already, and IN2 zone.
But they're allowed in residential.
Yeah, they are. That's because they have a childcare set. We have a separate set for, as you know, the childcare is in residential zones.
And we can't change that?
No, they have changed They have changed, of course, for boarding houses, as you know, but they still allow, kindergartens and childcare centres to be built in, residential zones.
So, just a question. So,
Through the chair.
why couldn't we, okay, so they're allowed in residential because of the steps, I get that. But why couldn't we include them in the E4 zone?
We can definitely ask the same sort of thing, but it may be better off not to be in an E4 zone, as we said for the other zones. It may be better to put that into an E2 zone where it's allowed. So I'll have a look at that.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So councillor?
Second amendment?
No, sorry, councillor Reddy, you're happy with that,
Yeah.
yeah, you're happy with those together, yeah? To be, yeah? Yeah, you're happy with that, councillor Reddy? Okay. No further debate. I'll put the, motion. Unanimous. PPC1, fostering of the arts and tapography, moved by the Mayor, seconded, councillor Pennsylvania.
What page is that?
421. Okay. Any further debate, councillors? Any discussion? No, this doesn't say.
You wanted your name in mind.
No, I didn't.
I get it.
No debate, councillors. I'll put the motion, recommendation.
Fine.
Unanimous. Okay, matters of urgency in accordance with 2.1 local government regulation. Nil. Closed session. Nil. Okay, I declare the meeting closed.